and the cornea clean from the outside, okay? And keeps it free from debris and nice and moist. Awesome. So that solution, tears, if you will, you're going to wash over your eye. We're going to look at the components of the eye. So here what you're going to have is the cornea and the sclera. And then it's going to make its way to the lacrimal sac, down the nasolacrimal duct. And lacrimal being lacrimal. Now, if you recall, the lacrimal bone is right about here. So we've got the nasal bone about here, and we've got the lacrimal bone. So we've got this whole lacrimal sac and nasolacrimal duct. Okay, awesome. And that's why you get all this boogery stuff when you cry and whatever, and excess tears and when you're sick. So you've got a way to remove that excess fluid. Awesome. That's basically it. So here's the image that is, I'm not sure if it's actually, to be honest with you, but it's a torso model, which is very similar. Now, this is a caveat. The lacrimal gland is going to be lateral, right? So we've got the medial and then we've got the lateral when we're talking about positioning. So that's always going to be lateral on right or left side. So that's where the gland is situated. That's fine because you want to have the tears flow over towards the lacrimal sac. Now, notice something here. Even on our model also, there's actually no duct. So you should have a duct, see here. What you see is basically just the lacrimal sac. But guess what we don't have labeled on this torso model? Nasolacrimal sac. So we're just going to call that the nasolacrimal duct. It's fine. The sac kind of goes into the duct. But that's what because they don't have this duct hanging down. And that's it. Boom. We're done with that. All right. However, I don't know if they'll ask it here. I don't think so because it's not part of the torso model, but you can see that. What can you see? Lacrimal gland. Go back on a second. Yep. Hold on. All right. So that's technically that kind of the lacrimal sac, but we're going to call it the nasolacrimal duct because there's no duct coming down. It is what it is. All right. So here you can see the sac and the duct, right? So there is the lacrimal gland. Okay. Tears are going to wash, kind of go over the eye in this movement. And then you're going to have the lacrimal sac here, the nasolacrimal duct. There's the nasal bone. There's the lacrimal bone. And here is your nasal cavity. That should be the inferior nasal concha there, but it doesn't matter for our purposes here, right? Now, this is not the model, but at least you can kind of see where we are there. But all you need to know is the nasolacrimal duct, which is technically this part here, and then the lacrimal gland, which is over here. Okie dokie, that's it. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we went through most of this in lecture, and you guys already had lecture this week because we're the last class of the week. So you guys know all the basics. So I don't have to take as much time. On my Tuesday lab, because I presume they had lab first for a lot of the students, we went over a lot of this. So just as a reminder from an illustration perspective, where are we with the eye? Well, we've got the cornea. Okay, the cornea is this part here at the front of the eye. This does not change. It doesn't change shape. It's always in this shape. It's made of connective tissue, as you learned in lecture. And then we've got 3 layers of the eye. Now, in class, we talk about the tunic, right? So we talked about the fibrous tunic, which has the sclera in it. We talked about the vascular tunic, which has the choroid in it. And then we talked about the neural tunic, and that has the retina in it. So here, we're actually just going to talk about the sclera, the choroid, and the retina. That's the labeling. Why? Because we don't actually talk about the layers using the terminology tunic. Tunic means layer, like tunica. And so here, when we talk about the eye model, we're just going to go over the parts which are the sclera, the 3 layers. Sclera, we're going to talk about the choroid, we're going to talk about, and then the retina. No problem. So kind of going over this image here, we've got the cornea, and we've got a space here, and then we've got the lens. And kind of in front of the lens, which technically if you look in the front, it's all the way around, we have the iris. So there's the iris. So that's in front. So the lens is behind the iris. And in front of the lens, you've got the pupil. So the pupil sits, so I think I just said, so let me say that the lens sits behind the iris because the iris goes around the pupil, not around the lens. So I just want to clarify that. So the order of these structures are cornea at the front, which you see here. The next section of structure is going to be the pupil with the iris around it. Then the lens is posterior to that. So it goes, this part of the eye, the front of the eye, the anterior cavity goes from cornea to lens. And in the eye, in the front of the eye, the anterior cavity, there's an anterior chamber and a posterior chamber, which we talked about. So be careful because in lecture, they want you to know that. For us, there's really, well, that's not true. We do talk about the anterior chamber and the posterior chamber, which we'll see more in the flat eye model. It doesn't ask for it in the 3D model that we'll see in just a little bit here. So basically, that's what you see. In the front, we've got cornea, space, pupil with the iris around it. Then we've got behind it the lens. And we've got this area called the ciliary body. Okay, the ciliary body consists of the ciliary muscle and the ciliary process. Okay, so we're going to see that as well. Here, if you notice in the eye model, it just asks for the ciliary body, which is great because then we don't have to worry about it. Process. Both of those two things together make the ciliary body. Ciliary muscle causes the lens to bulge or flatten, right? Contraction of the muscle, the ciliary muscle, and then the bulging or flattening of the eye, the lens, and then the ciliary process is what makes and secretes the aqueous humor. On page 1 lab with the outer part of the sclera. Yes, except for the very front. The very front would not be the sclera. The bump out would be the cornea. So follow that white part all the way till you get to basically where the body is or where the iris is, and then that front part is going to be the cornea. The rest is going to be the sclera. So there are 3 arrows there. The top arrow is the sclera, the second arrow is the choroid, and the third arrow is the retina. All right, and we're going to talk more about each of those layers as well. So that's where we are with the kind of the front of the eye. Okay, and then the layers are going to go like what was just asked. We have sclera, the white part. It's always white. We have the choroid, which in this image is. It doesn't really show a good choroid. So I'll wait because the next layer down is the choroid. And then the final layer inside, the deepest layer is the retina, which we'll see in just a second. And then here is the optic nerve. Okay, and we saw a lot about the optic nerve. You remember looking at this. And then here, this was the olfactory tract and the olfactory bulb. And then we've got the optic chiasm. We have the optic nerve and the optic tract. Right? And that's what we have, the optic nerve coming this way. And it is going to cross over, which for my lecture, folks, we finish that up next week. Okie dokie. Awesome. So that was introduction there. So I'm going to kind of change gear. And I know that was kind of an abrupt change, but that's okay. We're going to go all of those eye pieces again in just a second. But since we're here, we might as well go ahead and knock out the eye muscles. So there are 6 basic eye muscles, which we briefly touched on in lecture because we're going to go over it here. So these eye muscles are skeletal muscles. They attach, the tendon of that muscle attaches to the sclera. So we know what the sclera is, so that's good, right? Normally with skeletal muscle, we have a muscle to bone, muscle tendon bone attachment. That's normally how it's structured. But the eye has no bone. So it's muscle tendon sclera attachment. And you can see in this image as well. So we basically have 6 muscles that we want you to know. We're not interested in this called the levator palpebrae because that actually lifts up the eyelid, right? And so we don't have to worry about that one for our purposes, right? We're kind of just focusing on the eye itself. And so they're shockingly 4 of them are called rectus muscles. So superior, inferior, lateral, medial, rectus. Great, right? Then we have 2 muscles, which are kind of at the side, doing a 45-degree angle thing, oblique. And then they're called the inferior and superior. So you can kind of see them here, and we're going to see the models, which are going to clarify the situation. But just the easy ones that are easily, you can see it here. This is going to be the lateral rectus, the inferior rectus, the superior rectus here, not this one here, and then we've got the inferior oblique. Okay, you can see the medial rectus peeking through there, but we'll get better images. And just for reference, there's your nasal bone, and then that's the maxilla, and then that's the lacrimal back here, which we saw before. All right, awesome, good job. All right, so again, we saw this in lecture, so I'm not going to remember this. Here are the four muscles that are innervated by the oculomotor nerve, cranial nerve number 3. You can see them here. And then we've got abducens, which is cranial nerve number 6, and that's going to innervate the lateral rectus. And then the trochlear cranial nerve number 4 is going to innervate the superior oblique. Okay. So in this case, notice there are no boxes on this page, so you don't have to worry about that information for lab, but that can be a question for lecture. So keep that in mind. All right, boom. So this is not an image. This is not Kimberly Dutton, but it's labeled, and I liked it, so you get it. So, again, here, this is really quite straightforward. The big thing is you have to make sure you know where you are, right? Now, when you've got this image here, you've got to know that this is going to be the nasal bone, which means it's going to be medial, right? So that means that anything in this area here, when it comes to the rectus muscle, will be medial. So therefore, this over here is lateral. Now that makes sense, but you want to just make sure you're orienting yourself properly. It's not a huge deal here, just because it's a little easier to figure out where you are, okay? Just in general. But as you can see here, we've got the superior rectus muscle, we've got the lateral rectus muscle. The medial is a little hard to see in this image, but this is the inferior rectus muscle. And then you've got the inferior oblique and the superior oblique muscle. Okay, so that's it. All right, awesome. Now, here is Kimberly Dutton. So the first thing you need to know is this is not part of the muscle group we want to know. I'm not sure why they didn't take it off, because I'm pretty sure you can pop it off, but I could be wrong. So that is the levator palpebrae. We don't want that, right? What do we want? We want the lateral rectus. Well, how do you know that's lateral? Because that's your nasal bone. So that makes all of this medial, right? So not too difficult, but just watch that. So that means I've got my lateral rectus muscle. I've got my inferior rectus muscle. I've got my superior rectus muscle. And I have a pretty good view of my medial rectus muscle, right? Lastly, we have very nice views of the inferior oblique and the superior oblique. And that's what we have. Boom, we're done. And then here you can see that's a tendon. I should probably change that color from white to something else. That's a tendon, all of them attaching to the sclera. One more time? Absolutely. And also, guys, just take a look. Of course, I'll do it again, but just here are some labels as well. So feel free to take the image if you need to. All right, so where are we? Don't worry about this thing, right? That's the levator palpebrae muscle. So what do you need to know? You need to remember that this area here is medial. So this is the lateral rectus muscle. Okay, this is the superior rectus muscle. Okay, this is the inferior rectus muscle there underneath there. This is the medial rectus muscle there. This is the inferior oblique. This is the superior oblique. How's that? That work?
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. All right, awesome. All right, hold on, guys. Sorry. Aw, thanks. Look at me. I can write on a picture. Earning the bucks. Making the money. You guys are just weird. All right. If you're not weird, I won't be weird. I'm just saying. I'm reflecting. Yeah, cash money. Oh, Lord. Weird is fine. I'm just saying, if you are weird, I will be weird also. All right, guys. Let's keep going. All right, awesome. Okay, here we go, guys. So, are you ready? Where is... I know. It's painful, people. Not because it is. So, I think it's nice. It's much better for you guys to get involved and for us to be weird than for us to be like, oh my God, lateral rectus muscle. I know, it's much better. All right, awesome, guys. So please tell me, where is the superior rectus muscle? That's it. Watch out. Not the top, guys. Not the top. Stay down. Stay down. There we go. Now, honestly, it doesn't matter. Why? Because we're not asking for the levator palpebrae, so it doesn't matter. You're still going to call that the superior rectus muscle. Remember, you got to call it the superior rectus muscle because that's what it's called. All right. Awesome. Good job. Okay, guys. Ready? Where is the inferior rectus muscle? Down, 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 inferior, inferior, down, 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 go down. No, more, down. One person got stuck. Keep going. No, not there. That's inferior oblique. Come back up, back up, back up, back up. There we go. Inferior rectus. Good job. Way to make it there, guys. Oh, that was okay. You can do it. Very good. There we go. Awesome. All right, guys. With that being said, let's keep going through these rectus muscles. Can you guys see the medial rectus muscle? I can't remember if I just did that, but it's okay. There we go. That's it. That's it. Good. Okay, awesome. Now, the inferior oblique muscle. Inferior oblique muscle. Go down, 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 down. There you go. That's right, because it's inferior, right below. Now, you cannot see the superior oblique muscle enough. Like, there's a little peekaboo superior oblique, but that's mean. Yeah, it's like, right. Actually, that white one. That white right there, that's it. So we wouldn't ask there because that's straight up mean. All right, guys, awesome. Good job. Now, remind me, guys, to come back to this because I forgot last time, and we came to the conclusion... I love the collaborative teaching in my other class. We came to the conclusion that this must be the vitreous humor because there's no other model that looks like there's any vitreous humor. Remind me to come back to this because I want to come back to it, but I want to come back to it in a second because this makes more sense to continue with this. Why? Because where is the superior oblique? I mean, it's just boom. It's right there. That's it. They're going to ask for the superior oblique here. They have to, right? All right, awesome. With that being said, where is the medial rectus muscle? Because here you can really see it. That's it, boom. Now, guys, what is, and you can just write this out if you want, whatever you want to do. What is this? It's coming from the back of the eye. What is this? Optic nerve. That's it. So theoretically, they could ask for it here. I mean, why not? It says eye model, and that's what this is. All right, awesome. With that being said, where is the lateral rectus muscle? Because it's really, really apparent here. Well, careful. Oh, that is right. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. What I meant to say was, where is the inferior rectus muscle? You guys are absolutely right. They won't ask for the lateral here because that's bonkers. Yeah, but they could ask for the inferior. I think they would ask for it here because it's very apparent. Good. Now, of course, you know where I'm going to go next. I'm going to go to the inferior oblique. Inferior, that's right. Inferior oblique. That's it. Go down, 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 down. Down, down, down. Somebody's writing again. Gloria, go ahead.
I'm trying to go fast enough, but here. This is the so this is the superior oblique, right?
It is.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
You got it? You good?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Good job. All right, that's it, guys. You got it. Not that bad. Knock it out, people. So there's a lot of stuff that's not that bad. The stuff that's bad is like the arm model, right? The little man model can get a little confusing, so it's good to review the little man model with each of the other models, right? Just as a way worse. But there's a lot of stuff that's not bad. For example, honestly, guys, the cat dissection, not that bad. Come on now. Y'all know it's not that bad. So put them together. Put the ones that are together with the ones that are obviously the same content, and then spend some time on the ones that are harder. Well, you're reinforcing the easier ones, knocking those ones out while you're going back to the more difficult ones. Small big muscles are hardest to find. I do a lot of pediatric. Really? Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why because I have no idea. But I'm not sure if you know this about me. I'm not clinical.
I might just know yours.
You'll remember me, but it's probably not because I know anything about the clinical aspect. My son had 3 of them.
Hi.
3 superior oblique muscles. How? Oh, they're so deep. Well, you know what? Look at that. Look at that positioning. That makes sense. You are right next to your bones, right? You've got your ethmoid there, your lacrimal. Yeah. Oh, 3 surgeries. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's hard. Yeah. Oh, surgeries. But it makes you really thankful for modern medicine. My son had to have some, I'm not going to go into detail, but he had to have a little bit of some reconstructive surgery, and sucked if he was in like 1840. Ugh. Anyway, Gloria, go for it.
Well, I was gonna ask because I'm confused because there's like 3, 4 different eye models that they're looking for. Well, one is the experiment and one's the dissection. So we're on the eye model, the first one. What does a flat eye model look like? Is that the one that's the little eyeball that's floating?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
Don't worry, we're gonna get there. The flat eye model is literally flat, so we haven't got there yet. Don't worry about it. I hear you, and I totally get it. That one is coming up in just in a couple slides.
Okay, so this one's just the regular eye model, the first one.
Yeah, this is going to be the regular eye model because technically we only have 2 eye models. We have the eye model, which let me just think about that. Yeah, because what happens is it's this one where you have the muscles, right? That's part of this eye model. And then you've got the eye, which is here, and then we break apart this eye into various levels. And then the flat eye model is literally flat, and we're going to go over that. It's completely separate. Yep. All right, so he had 3 surgeries, not 3 eye muscles. Sorry, I had to address the elephant in the room. Sorry. I was like, how do you have 3 eye muscles? All right, like I said, I'm not clinical. Who knows what you find when you get in there? All right. Anyway, just ignore me. Let's keep going. So with that being said, let's continue on with the eye model from beyond the muscles. And I hope your son's well now. I hope they were able to fix whatever issue he's having with his one muscle. Anyway, Lord. He should do something that requires super fine movement, and he'd be like amazing. He'd be like a superhero. Shut it. He could be a superhero right now. Y'all don't know. Aw, that's so sweet and sad. Aw, so cross-eyed babies. Okay. See? Listen, I didn't bring the weird. Y'all brought the weird. Okay, it's true. I was like 3 muscles, but that's different. Aw, and little glasses too. Aw, that's sweet. Aw, babies with cross eyes and glasses. All right, awesome. So let's think about this for a second, guys. Okay, so let's add some stuff in here. I'm just wondering if I need to. Okay, let's go back to this. Let's go back to the illustration. All right, so let's pick up where we left off in the illustration. So what did we leave off previously? So before attacking the muscles, we did the cornea, we did space, we did eye. This is the iris. This is the pupil in between there, but you can't really see it. So it's a space. And then we've got the lens. We've got the ciliary body because that's all you want, right? And then we've got the 3 layers. We talked about sclera. We talked about the next layer, which is called the choroid, right? For lab purposes, just about the retina, the inner layer, okay? And then we're going to talk about something called the fovea centralis. We're going to have to bump back up. And the squishy gel-like stuff, which is called the vitreous humor. It's literally gel. If you're in lab, you're like, man, this thing is just a ball of gel. And you can pick it up, and it's just gel. It's not liquid. It's gel. Image in top left. Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, my God. Am I doing it again? Sorry, guys. I did it last Tuesday. I was using my pointer. Sorry, guys. No, it's my, no. I wasn't using the pointer. No. I had my pointer and you couldn't see it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I need a sticky note, or they need to just let me use my pointer from my screen. All right, guys. All right, so far I've been drawing, so I think you guys are okay with what I've been doing. Vitreous humor is the gel stuff, which we don't have a nice picture. I'm not even gonna lie, but we'll make it work. Anyway, and then of course we've got the optic nerve back here, which you know. Okay, so with that being said, let's continue our list from page 161 under the eye model. We already knocked out the muscles. So what do we have here? Well, we've got the sclera. Okay, guys, all this white part here is the sclera. Now, what happens in this image is that they've removed half the sclera. So you get the next layer, which is the choroid. Okay, guys, all of that's the choroid. No problem. Okay, now, a couple things happening in this image. They have taken off half the cornea. Do you guys see this kind of plastic here? That's the cornea. I don't know if they'll ask that on this image, but just know that this plastic part here, I'll change to, this is the cornea. Okay, guys? Then the iris, which I'm going to show you on the other model first, it's not Kimberly Dutton, but I want to show you. Here is the iris around the, of course, you see here, the pupil. All right, guys? Now, I made it black. What a weird thing to do. All right, pupil. Okay, now I want you to notice something. On this model, this white part is the ciliary muscle. Okay, guys? So the ciliary muscle is the white part on the outside. On the flat model, it looks different. So just be aware of that. Now they don't ask for the ciliary muscle, so that's a good thing. The ciliary body, though, we have to go inside for it. So don't get confused. The outside is not where we can see the ciliary body. We have to go to the next level. So we're not there yet. So again, where are we? We've got sclera. I guess I can put some letters here. That would help. We've got sclera. Hello. Sclera. We've got choroid. We've got cornea. We've got iris. And then we've got, of course, pupil. Okay, guys? So this one, we could ask muscles on this eye model. We could ask these parts. We don't ask for the ciliary muscle, so that's okay. We will see the ciliary body on the ones that I skipped just a minute ago. No, we can't see the retina here. Absolutely not. That's a good question. We've gone through 2 layers of the eye. Sclera here, choroid. Sclera here, choroid. We have to go to the next layer. So I described it like this on Tuesday. It's like a Russian nesting doll phenomena. You got the big Russian nesting doll, you pop her open, you got something else. You pop the next one open, you got the other one. So we're still in layer 1 and 2 of the eye. We haven't gotten to the third, which is retina. Okay, guys, that's a good question. All right. Are you ready? Oh, and this is just another image. Again, the left is not Kimberly Dutton, but you can see here the labeling, which is always nice. Again, we don't have to have ciliary muscle. We will have ciliary body on the inside, which we'll see in a second on another image. Technically, it's actually this eyeball image without the muscles. All right, guys. So where is the sclera? Yep, just the white part. Boom, no problem. White. Awesome. Where is the choroid? Awesome. Good. Now I don't know if they're gonna ask. It's a little janky, but I'm gonna prep you anyway. Where's the cornea? Watch it. It's that half one, not the other one. So they've actually removed half of it. It's just in that area. Now, where is the iris? That's the color part, right? It's the color part. So that's really nice and easy. Now, I think this is easy. Where's the pupil? They can ask for it here. They can ask for it. Where's the optic nerve? Awesome. That's it. Boom. You got it. Okay. Okay, good job. Now, let's see. Okay. Now, let's go back to the ones I skipped. Okay. So, here's Kimberly Dutton. Okay, so what do we have? Since we're on the inside, guys, lens. Okay? Not cornea. Okay? Because it would sit here, and that would sit behind the pupil. So you'd put that lens there and close this cap up, and once you close this bad boy, you get this image. Do you see what they did? They opened it up like a Russian nesting doll, and they took it apart in these pieces, and they have this. Yep. And we can see the retina here just following up with it. Okay, let's go back. So I've got a couple images here, a couple different ways to label it, whatnot. So what do we have here? Just kind of reviewing this, keeping this image here so you can reference it. So what do we have here? Well, we've got the lens. That's the lens. We do see the choroid, so theoretically we can ask you for that, right? And then this is going to be the vitreous humor because I don't know what else could be. There's nothing else that could be the vitreous humor. And because it sits behind the lens, it has to be the vitreous humor. Now, guys, everything behind the lens is called the posterior cavity, but they don't ask for it here, so don't worry about it in these images. They ask for the posterior chamber. They don't even ask for the cavity. The posterior chamber and the anterior chamber, I will show you in the flat model because that's where they want it. It's just the front of the eye. The chambers, posterior, anterior, and posterior, are from the cornea to the lens. That's it. And that whole area is called the anterior cavity. But they don't ask for the cavity, they just want the chamber. But don't worry, they don't ask for it in the eye models. All right, so where are we here? Now, in addition to that, you can see the... I want to see if I can better view, though. Hold on, guys. I know, I'm jumping. Give me a second. This is it. Okay, this is an image of what you just saw, further removed. In other words, they took off the vitreous humor. So this is what you see. This entire thing is the retina. Okay, guys? Which means technically you can see this thin outer layer of the choroid. That make sense? We good? I'm going to go back, but I think this is a good place to go to kind of move into. Awesome. Now, with that being said, since I'm here, Mayoski, go ahead. Mayoski.
Hi, Miss Nicolette. So you're saying the retina is the pinkish, I guess, this color, right?
All of this kind of pinkish color part here, all of that. That's all the retina.
Okay, so I wonder how an arrow would be pointing to that without pointing out like a whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go into that. That's a good question. So in this image, you're welcome. In this image, there are technically four. I got to give you the technical one. You know what I mean? Technically, we could ask for the choroid, right? I mean, we could, right? I mean, it's there. I don't know if they would, but there it is. So this whole part is coming back. So this whole part is the retina here. Now, the other things they could ask for, and then I'll go into more detail with Mayoski's question. So we've got the retina, which is pinkish color here, the whole thing. Then we have two other things that we need as per the list. We have an area called blind spot, also known as the optic disc, which you can see here, optic disc / blind, parentheses blind spot. You choose the name you want. Whenever it's in parentheses, it's up to you. Right? I'm going to tell you why this is a blind spot later, although we talked about it in lecture. But that's the blind spot. It kind of looks like a reflection, to be honest, but it's not. It's actually meant to be in there. So that's the blind spot, the optic disc. The optic nerve goes out in the back of that. And then we have this area here, which is called the fovea centralis. Okay, now we don't care about this image because that's not Kimberly Dutton. But these are the three things inside we can ask you are the retina, the optic disc, and the fovea centralis, which we want the whole thing, not just fovea. The white, in essence. I mean, I always hate saying it that way, but yes, technically that's true. And I really don't think it's a white dot for that reason. I kind of think it's like, I honestly think it's more like a manufacturing thing as opposed to make it a white dot. But anyway, we'll go with white dot. Yes, and that's the fovea centralis, right? So those are the three things we can ask. So this is an example, number one. Number one. And I'm glad I talked about this to my Tuesday class because I want to be equal, give you guys equal coverage of stuff. You have to make sure that you carefully read that question. I know, Miss Nicolette, but you have 90 minutes. You have time, right, guys? So watch the questions, right? What is the arrow pointing to? So watch this. 3 possible arrow scenarios. 1 has to be the optic disc. Don't tell me it's obviously if you say the fovea centralis, you're wrong. So boom, we're okay there because you're wrong. But don't tell me the retina if you see this. Second option for arrows. fovea centralis, right, guys? So those are very clear. Now, we could just put a big arrow, which they like their big arrows like that. What is that? Retina. Okay? Now, if they're going to be I don't think they would do this, but if they did that, say choroid, I'm going to be grading it. I will grade that correctly, right? Now, if you say say they put this image and what is retina, and you give choroid, I'll still give you the point. Okay? Let's not complicate the water, muddy the waters. Yeah, just know what is there. Know and watch that question. Watch the question carefully, especially when you go back to the muscles. Remember, some of those muscles you have to know the function, origin, insertion, function. So be careful not to just give me the muscle name if they want the function, right, guys? That happened a couple times with the first test. They wanted to know where the tissue was found, but people gave it the tissue name. It's just an error, right? Because the fovea centralis has a high density of cones, and those cones are the photoreceptors that absorb light, and it's the light once absorbed that gives us images, and that the images are we get the best images at this area, and that's called visual acuity, and it's all because it's a high density of cones. That's why the eye refracts the light through the cornea, through the lens. We talked about the melanin in class. The melanin around the retina absorbs the light, so you don't have refraction. So the light that makes it to the retina, we want that light to get to the fovea centralis for visual or the best vision possible. All right, boom. How does that sound, guys? I don't know, like mic drop. I don't have a mic. I have headphones. Drop my headset. Not the same. Anyway, whatever. So silly. Okay, let's go back. So now that you know what the retina is compared to the choroid, which is important, making these comparisons, right? Compare and contrast. Now we're going to go back to what you can see. So now you can see here, what they did was in that image, they popped this off. And that's how you got what we just saw. In this image here, I'm going to double check because I might have one where they put it up also. But if they don't, guys, this area here, this area is the ciliary body. That's the ciliary body. Guys, watch. Not the back. This one where you can see that retina, that's the back, right? That's the anterior part. White lines, essentially, yeah. The front part has the ciliary body, which makes sense, right? The ciliary body is where the ciliary body has the ciliary muscle. And the ciliary muscle has ligaments attached to the lens. And the lens separates the anterior cavity from the posterior cavity. And that retina's in the back. That retina's way in the back. Yeah, so that would be considered more coming towards the back. So that's where we've got that ciliary body in the front, which we saw around the lens. And then the muscle part of that has the suspensory ligaments that causes contraction of that. Well, the muscle contracts, causing the lens to bulge. But yeah, they're not the ciliary ligaments. No, they're the body. So you have to go in for the iris. So technically, yes, it would be more the iris on the inside. So actually out, you're going in for the iris. So the outside of the clay could still be considered the ciliary body, and the inside would be considered the iris. The inside part would be Brisa, the iris, then the outside would be technically more of the ciliary body. Does that make sense, guys? But no, they're not the ciliary ligament. I mean, they could be the ciliary ligaments, but we don't care. We're just going to call it the ciliary body. So yeah. All right. So I hope that makes sense. Let's go ahead and look at this again here. Let's see. Oh, actually, we'll look good here. Janky. A little bit. All right, guys. Vitreous humor. Go. I think they're not going to ask the iris here. Nope. They just can't because you can't really see it. There's no way. They're going to look at it in the front where you can see the colored part of it. Yes, that's the vitreous humor. All right, guys. In this image, you can see a choroid, so pick your choroid. That's it. Either one. They're both a choroid. Awesome. I don't think we're going to ask for the retina here because it's too confusing with the vitreous humor. But yeah, that's where it is. But I just think it's a little bit janky in this image. All right, where is the ciliary body? Yep, come back. It's got to be on this one. You can't go to the back. You've got to go to the front. Exactly. So technically the part not in the very middle, that would be the iris. But as we're coming out, that would be the ciliary body. So I think they're going to point to the white part. Theoretically, they could go up a little bit. Yeah, but just not in the middle. That middle part's going to be the iris. Now, where's the lens? That's it. All right, awesome. Good job. Not the cornea. All right, awesome. Okay, guys, let's do it. Let's keep going. We did that already. We did the other one. Jewel. Yeah, it's the jewel. The beauty of the eye. All the technically the iris would be, but okay. All right, guys. Where is the fovea centralis? Go. Yep. Where is the optic disc or blind spot? Because there are no photoreceptors there. Yep. And where is the retina? Yep, they're all on the retina. All of that is retina. Perfect. That's it, guys. So we are. Let me see. Did this is where we would ask for the optic nerve. Where is it, guys? Yeah. Boom. That's the optic nerve. For this model, that's where we'd have to ask for it. We've done it. That's it. Cool. Now the iris, guys. This is the model we would ask for. Almost positive. There's no way we could ask it on the other one. Yeah, there it is. Boom, no problem. That means we have to ask the cornea for this model here. So where's the cornea? Yeah, careful, guys. Watch that. That's the cornea, the other side. And in the middle, of course, is the pupil. Yeah, exactly. So this one's nuts over here because you can see it there. But on this one, it's half this way. So on our model, the cornea looks like this. And it covers it like that. Yep, Gloria, go for it.
So there's a picture that Kimberly Dutton has that is like the ciliary body, but it's looking inside of it, so you can see the center too. So they could quite possibly ask us for the iris there. Like the one we were just on, the one that I called the clay pot.
Yeah. They could theoretically. So just to be ready, if they, I'm going to go back to it. If they had this part, this one here propped up a little bit, then the inside would be the iris. It would just be really weird to do that. They could. So the ciliary body would be the lines outward. The inside of that, just around the hole, which is the pupil, is going to be the iris. So this model is our model. None of this, only the Kimberly Dutton is our model. Only this Kimberly Dutton, the other ones are not our model. Yep, so only the ones that say Kimberly Dutton. Sorry to confuse that. So this one here, if it's propped up, basically the inside of these lines would be the iris. From the lines out, that's going to be the ciliary body. So theoretically, they could go for up here, but I think they're going to go for more the lines. So if you, you met her. Please don't tell her that we talk, that you talk. I don't talk smack about her. Oh, you guys talk smack about her. No. I'm sure she's so nice. I know she is. It's kind of like Dr. Schultz. When everyone meets Dr. Schultz, they're like, wow. You guys are so funny. All right. No, undoubtedly she's so nice. I mean, yeah. So, but we always call these pictures Kimberly Dutton. Like we don't call them Blackboard. We call them Kimberly Dutton. So, she's kind of infamous now. All right. So yes. Again, you're going to see those images for the iris on the outside like this, or if the image is flipped up where you can see it on the inside, theoretically they could do that. I think it would be less probable on the inside, but you never know. So at least you're prepared. All right, good questions. Very good questions. So that does technically mean that we have finished. Oh, here it is. Sorry, guys. That's it. All right, what are we looking at here? This area would be the pupil, right, guys? Which makes this the iris, which makes this the ciliary body. Now, theoretically, that could be the ligaments. I don't know. So we're going to go with ciliary body here or outer part there. So technically, that's not wrong because actually, they'll still kind of label that area the ciliary body. So everything from the white lines out is ciliary body. Everything just around the circle, which is missing a pupil, that's where the pupil would go. And then that image with the popped out lens, that lens would sit right behind it like this. Hence the ciliary body being right. That makes sense, guys? So in essence, it would look like this. The pupil would stick in here. So then you've got this, right? And then on top of that, you would have, let me choose a color. Then the lens would sit just behind it, right? That's my lens sitting behind it. And then you have the ciliary body here. Now that, again, it could be the suspensory ligaments. It could be. But for our purposes, we're not worried about it. We're just going to call the whole thing the ciliary body. Okay? So I think they would do the white, but they might not. And if they don't, just call it all ciliary body. It's so weird. It's not. Maybe, you know why? Maybe because it doesn't pop out. I don't know. Like, for example, it's not here. And it doesn't pop out. I don't know why. That's weird. I don't know. It is what it is, people. All right, awesome. Okay, guys. Flat eye model. Okay? That's it. So, wait, I just gotta make sure I didn't miss something. Sometimes I miss something. Nope, okay. All right, so, yeah, but, you know, they still, that would be nice. Give you some points. All right, so this is the flat eye model. The nice thing is you know a lot of this anyway. So just tell me what you know from our review of the other eye model. Where's the cornea? Oh, careful. There we go. Oh, here, come back. Yeah, there we go. That's the cornea. Now, actually, you know what? Let me go to a bigger picture because I'm going to ask you these questions anyway. There, let's go to this one. That's better. Okay. Where's the cornea? I know, sorry. There it is, just there. Good. Now, where's the iris? Yes. Now, yes and yes, but you notice on the bottom, they've got all those 3 layers covering it, so it's slightly janky. So there's a higher probability you're going to get the iris on the top because you moved all those layers. You see what I'm saying? Well, I mean that you're absolutely correct. The iris is going to be here, and the iris is going to be here, yes. But see how they've kept all those layers here? So they might show that, but they're probably going to go up top based on what you see here. That's the iris. Why? And then again, here would be the iris underneath these layers. Why? Because this is the pupil. Now, there's nothing there. You can't see it, right? And that's probably why, let's see, do they ask for the pupil here? They don't. Because there's nothing really there. But that's what it is. Now, where is the iris again, guys? Yep, that's it. And it's just because the layers of the retina, well, technically the choroid and actually just technically the choroid covering it. All right, great. Now, lens. Awesome. Ciliary, no? Yeah, ciliary body. Okay, now, this is kind of tricky. Yes, but, okay, let me clarify, guys. Yes to everything. You guys are like, wait, what? This is the ciliary body here, okay? Yes, it comes out just like the way we saw it in the other one. So theoretically, it could be this one. So just know, I'm not sure. I feel like they would go here first. I do. But know that this is the ciliary body at the side on that lateral view because they've taken a sagittal cut, right? And yes, this is also the ciliary, right? The way those are both, right? One is lateral and one is technically more from the posterior like we just saw, like we saw here, right? What we see we kind of see in this image here, we're kind of getting a little side view of the inside. Okay? I don't know exactly which one they're going to go, so just study both this ciliary and this area here, including the white part. Okay? All right, guys? All right? Now, I do want you to know, because this is ask about this. 23, please. 23, please. 23. We're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to it. Don't worry. But I'm just kind of jumping a little bit here. So let me just finish here, and then we'll go back and do that. Okay. Now, I can show you this. So the eye has, so we talked about this in lecture. So I'll just reinforce that, and then I'll reinforce what you need to know for lab. So we talked about the idea of the eye having an anterior and a posterior cavity, right? They're the big parts. So from the lens up, right? This is the anterior cavity, right? Technically, it's not that big, but whatever. And then this is the posterior cavity. So that's what you have to know for lecture. No, I'm going to get there. Good question, no. So listen up, guys. Yeah, I know. Don't let it knock you out, guys. Don't get yourself frustrated. Don't worry. So I'm making the distinction here. Because lecture, you have to know this. Lab, you're going to see that there's something we don't have to know. Let me say it again, guys. Don't worry. Just let so we've got the whole front of the eye, okay? That's from the lens up, okay? We call that the anterior cavity, okay? Now, you're not asked about the cavity, okay? It's the anterior cavity. Now, all of this stuff behind the lens, right, is going to be the posterior cavity. Now, you are not asked about this in lab. Why? I don't know. Yes, exactly. So guys, follow me. Again, anterior cavity is the black part up here that looks like scriggle, whatever. The back where the vitreous humor is called the posterior cavity. You're not asked about the anterior posterior cavity. Why? I don't know. But you are asked about the two parts of the anterior cavity. So the anterior cavity has two parts. And it's simple, but it's confusing. I know. The anterior cavity has two parts. It has everything from the iris and the pupil to the cornea. That's called the anterior chamber. Okay, guys, careful. Right? So lecture wants both. Lab, based on our list, only wants anterior chamber and then in the same cavity from the iris and pupil to the lens, that's called the posterior chamber. Okay, hold on. Let me finish my awesome writing. Okay, so are we good with that? Lecture wants both. Lecture wants anterior cavity, which is lens to cornea. And then posterior cavity is behind the lens all the way to the back, to the retina, okay? The anterior cavity from lens to cornea has two parts. From iris pupil to cornea is anterior chamber. From iris pupil to lens is posterior chamber. How would we do that? We would have to ask, first of all, we don't ask for the cavity, so that wouldn't be an issue. We would have to point to the space, right? We'd have to do something like this. Hold on. Right? Do you see? That's not pointing to the cornea. That's pointing to the anterior chamber. Oh. Okay. That's good. I like it. So the two chambers, Harry Potter and the chamber of anterior posterior. Yes. So it's the iris / pupil that's going to be the border between the anterior chamber and the posterior chamber. Yes, Gloria.
Couldn't that technically be the aqueous humor too?
So it has to do with the question. So technically the aqueous humor could be both the anterior chamber and the posterior chamber. Why? Because the ciliary body of which the ciliary process is a part of, the ciliary process makes the aqueous humor, and it goes from the back and goes to the front of the chamber, or posterior to the anterior. So technically, either arrow, this arrow would be pointing to the chamber because it's not, there's no pupil, right? But you know that's in front of the pupil behind the cornea, because we've talked about it here today. And you know that this arrow, the arrow for the posterior chamber, quite frankly, is more challenging. They'd have to put it somewhere where it doesn't look like it's the lens, right? They'd have to ask for the question. This is why you got to read the question. Now, if the question and you answer that makes sense, I will give you the point. But if you're not careful and you don't read the question carefully, that's where you're going to get tripped up. So for you, obviously you have to know the difference between aqueous humor. You have to know what they are in the first place. But if that arrow in the question is not clear and you give me an answer that makes sense, I'll give you. Yeah, no, they would never say what chamber is this. That's too easy. They might say, I'm just being realistic with you guys. William's getting all snarky. I just noticed his post. So they might say something like, what area is this? You see what I'm saying? Or something like that. As opposed to, what structure is this? But again,
Miss Nicolette,
Okay.
would you mind putting a bracket around the anterior and posterior on
absolutely.
the picture here, please?
Absolutely.
Because I'm lost with this one. Thank you.
No problem. So do you want a bracket around it, or do you want me to color it? Here, I'll put it.
Bracket is fine because I'm labeling my slides that I moved to PowerPoint, so it kind of helps me with studying. So if you could do that, that'd be great.
No problem. So what I've done here, one of them is I've covered the iris and the pupil over. That's the big difference there. And then I've actually put a whole thing. That part there, the red box, is the anterior chamber. It's from iris and pupil to cornea. Now, I'm going to change the color to black. And it's going to be from iris and pupil again. Sorry, that's not nice. To the in front. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to do that again. I'm going to try to be nice and something I'm not accurate. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now what I'm trying to show you here is, and actually I'm going to bump it out a bit. What I want you to see that it's in front of the lens. So that's the area. So that box that I just showed you, which actually includes, I'm going to do it one more time. I'm sorry. There. So I hope that makes sense there. Then the red is going to be everything in front of the iris and the pupil. Can you see that? Does that help at all? Is that a little better? How's that?
That's perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. Oh, no, you're very welcome.
Yeah,
that lens is janky because what happens is it's in front of the lens to the iris and the pupil. All right, guys. I know, but it really is. That's the distinction, guys. The distinction is the border between the anterior chamber and the posterior chamber is going to be everything again is in front of the lens to the cornea. That's the anterior chamber. Anterior cavity. From the cornea to the pupil is the anterior chamber. From the pupil to the lens is the posterior chamber. So much jank, people. All right, awesome. So I hope that's helpful. Now, it's hard in this one, but again, just know what could happen here. You can have the anterior chamber, posterior chamber in their areas. You can have the lens in that posterior chamber, and you can have the aqueous humor. So as long as you read the question carefully, and if the question and your answer match up, and if the question arrow and your answer match up, I'll give you the point. Okay, guys? So don't stress it. Just know this area so you're ready. Now, I know it's stressful, and I understand that, but I want to kind of put it within the realm of, you can do this and don't stress it out. Just know what should be there. Read the question carefully. Watch that arrow where it's pointing to, and then we'll make sure that, we've got that. All right. With that being said, let's knock the rest of this out. So what did we do? We did cornea, we did the chambers, aqueous humor, guys. Now, aqueous humor can be anywhere in here, right? In front of the lens, anywhere here in front of the pupil, okay? Because aqueous humor comes out of the ciliary, goes in front of the lens, and then goes to the front of the chamber here. Now, obviously, there's a pupil there. There's a space that it would go through. Sorry, guys. Darn. Don't hate me. Sorry. All right. I'm so sorry. You guys are like, what? Y'all yelled at me. I'm sorry. Hey, now you know exactly where we are. All right. So, iris, pupil, anterior chamber, posterior chamber, and anywhere here can be the aqueous humor. But probably they're going to put that aqueous humor where number 4 is. You guys see this little place here? Why? Because the aqueous humor comes out of the ciliary process up here. Okay? Sorry about that, guys. Made you work really hard. I'm sorry. It's not funny. Completely unacceptable. But, hey, here we go. So, here's the difference between there we go, iris here. Okay, right? Iris here. There's no pupil here, but there should be there. And then this part is the anterior chamber. This part is the posterior chamber, right in front of the lens. Okay? And then the aqueous humor could be anywhere, but I'll bet it's going to be somewhere over here because the ciliary body secretes it, the ciliary process. Yeah, I know. But they always try to tell you don't memorize the numbers. So I can't guarantee that that's going to be the aqueous humor, guys. But to me, it makes sense that that's the area that it could be. Yeah, exactly. Number 2 would actually be the posterior chamber. Anterior chamber. Sorry, guys. Sorry, anterior chamber. Anterior chamber. Yes. All right, guys. So, I just got you ready. I worked it for you. All right. With that being said, theoretically, everything we talked about still comes into play. This is the ciliary body, or this, but likely this. There's the lens. This is the posterior chamber here, right? There. And then, technically, we could do aqueous humor anywhere, but I think in this picture it would be over here because the ciliary process secretes it. All right, great job. And then, of course, we have the sclera, which is here, and we have the retina, which is here. You can see a sliver of choroid, which is black, but they wouldn't ask that. And then we have one more, and I'm going to go back because I know, I believe it was Estella asked for the labeling, so I'm going to go back to that. I do want to show you the conjunctiva. So the conjunctiva is like here. It's basically this part up here that's kind of flipped up a little bit here. It's this part. Okay, it's not part of the cornea. That's the cornea. Okay, guys? And let me go back because I have a pretty little labeled one. So, sorry, not sure why that's happening. All right, so here is the labeled image that might be helpful. Now, this is actually very helpful because the vitreous humor is really hard to see on ours because of the lighting in the picture. I mean, Kimberly Dutton is amazing, but you can see here the vitreous humor. So when we go back to ours, our Kimberly Dutton, you'll be able to find it better because you can see it clearly here. So you can see these guys labeled their aqueous here. We could label it back here, right? We could label it in the front, in the back. It's made in the ciliary process, ciliary body, and then it flows through to the front. So be careful with that. I can't guarantee. This is not a guarantee, right? This is not a guarantee. And of course, we've got lens. And here's, I wanted to just show you again. There's the conjunctiva, which I just showed you. But again, here you've got it labeled. So guys, careful. I can't guarantee that. Red flag. Okay. But everything else is good. Now, it's not bad. It's just I don't know that we're going to go there. I personally think we're going to go there possibly for the anterior chamber. Right? All right, guys. If everyone has this, let's finish off our diagram. So, all right, let me ask questions. All right, guys, where's the cornea? Actually, you know what? I want to ask on this one. I do want to ask the big ones on this one. So where's the cornea, guys? Yeah, come back, guys. Not too far. It's just that. Because behind it is a space. It's called, behind it or posterior to the cornea is the anterior chamber. All right, awesome. Good job. Oh, my neck. Sorry, guys. All right, guys. Where is the iris here? There it is. There it is. Now, where's the ciliary body? Could be there. Could be in the back. I don't know about that back. Oh, careful. Not that. That part on the bottom, guys, this part here is the choroid. So careful. That's the choroid. The ciliary body's right up. Hold on, guys. Let me erase. Ciliary body, guys, is, yep, right here. Maybe they could ask here, but it's still slightly unlikely. All right. Now, guys, they could ask it here. So where's the conjunctiva? I think they'll go to the big model, but you never know. Yeah. Just a little part there. Yeah, a little part on the top, a little part on the bottom, a little part, like a little flap. Technically, it's a little sack, but, you know, it's good. All right, awesome. So we definitely could ask for the sclera here. So where's the sclera? Put it on. Yep. Where's the choroid here? I think we're going to go black, although technically that red part, it's questionable. It could be part of the choroid. I think it is, but yeah. Now, where's the retina here? Yep, it's all there. That's it. All of that part. Good. Now, watch this. Guys, it's hard to see in this image. Let me go back to compare for you. Ready? You see how nice this is? That's the vitreous humor. But guess what? Can you guys see it? Like you see it when you know it's there. That's right, guys. So again, yeah, that's the difference. So watch that, guys, because we're not going to get this image. Yeah, I know. Seriously. I know. You can't see it unless you kind of... So this image, you can see it clearly, right? And then you got to know it's there, and then you go and you're like, oh, wait, I see it. There's kind of like this. There it is. Kind of goes there, and then it's there. That's the vitreous humor, guys. That's it. Okay? So careful with that. Study that. And of course, we've got the optic disc. Not here. You can't see the optic disc here. Well, technically you can. Okay, technically you can, but we go to the bigger ones, so don't worry. Where's the optic nerve? That's what I was going for. Yep, all of that is accessible here. So let's go to the bigger one so that you can see what's accessible there. All right, now, here, I mean, honestly, dudes, this is not, there's no vitreous humor here. So there's nothing here for that. All right, guys, are you ready? We already did the core. What about, let's do the anterior chamber. Where would the anterior chamber be? Yep, that's it. It's not going to be anywhere else. That's it. There's nowhere else. Now, where would the posterior chamber be? Yeah, all in that area there. I don't think they could ask him. Yeah. So it's that lens that's tricky. All right, now technically, guys. So I'm giving you this caveat. Technically, any of those spaces could be aqueous humor, but I think they're going to go more. Yeah, I think they're going to go more here or here for aqueous humor, possibly here. I think so. Why? The aqueous humor is secreted by the ciliary process, which is a part of the ciliary body. That's what I think. Now, I think they'll go conjunctiva here, but they might not. So where's the conjunctiva? It's that little pop out. Yeah, all the way down there. Yep. And then at the top. That's it. Boom, 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 boom. Good. That's it. All right, awesome. Okay, hold on. Let's see what we got here. We got cornea, anterior chamber, aqueous humor, iris, lens, vitreous humor, which we got in the other one. Conjunctiva, sclera, optic nerve, choroid, retina, ciliary body. Yes, fovea centralis. Okay, fovea centralis, we got to go here. That's it. Right there. So technically 14, 15, but don't do the numbers. See that little bump in there? That's the fovea centralis. Why? Because the optic disc, guys, here. Now, they could go bigger, just like that green. Whoever did the green, theoretically, they could go bigger, right? But, guys, listen up. Listen up, my friends. Arrow here, right? Optic nerve, all right? Arrow here. Optic disc. Or blind spot. You with me? Now, theoretically, they could go out a little bit, right? They might do something like that. See what I'm saying? That's the optic disc. That's the fovea centralis. That is the optic nerve. Similar to what we saw with, okay, are they asking for the retina? Are they asking for the optic nerve? Are they asking for the fovea centralis? Same idea here. Okay, guys? All right. Now, the last four, we need a bigger image. The next image up. Okay. So, let me ask you the questions anyway again. Optic nerve. Boom. Optic disc. Or blind spot, whichever one strikes your fancy. Perfect. Just that area there. Fovea centralis. Boom, 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 boom. Guys, not bad. Don't overthink it. Do your studying. Know what it could be. Here, it's easy. Honestly, guys, you're not going to get it mixed up, right? Just got to watch the arrow, read the question. All right, awesome. Good job. That's what I'm talking. Okay, theoretically, we could ask for the retina. Theoretically, we could ask for the sclera, right? Theoretically, we could ask for the choroid, the black one here. Just FYI. Chances are we're going to use the other image for the choroid, right? But this is fair game for retina. Sure, why not? And yes, that bottom part is also the sclera. Just FYI. I don't think it's going to get that crazy, but you never know. All right, guys. So let's kind of knock this out, and then we'll take a break before we go on. Okay. Now, let me see if I have my images. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Do I have my images here? Sorry. Now, you've covered this in lecture already. It's okay. I thought I might have had an illustration. You guys have covered this in lecture. I know I covered it in lecture this week. So let's go over this. Okay. So this is basically explaining these cells of the retina. Okay, so first of all, you need to know this. You need to know that this is the pigmented epithelium, this red line that I'm making here. This is all the retina. So that's what we call the neural tunic, right? That's all the retina, all of this. Okay, we've got 3 cell types that we're interested in the retina. Okay, so it depends on where you want to start, right? If you start from this way, the light comes in this way, okay? So maybe that's a good place to start, light rays. So what happens is there are 3 rows of cells that we care about, okay? The first one is A. A is ganglion cells. Okay? The second row is B. B is bipolar cells. Now, I'm not putting cells because I can't be bothered. Sorry, guys. C is photoreceptors or rods and cones. Okay, guys? And then the fat line, which is just a brown line, is the pigmented epithelium or the pigmented epithelium of the retina. All right, guys, you with me? Okay? So light comes in this direction. The cornea is over here. The lens is over here. We've moved into the posterior cavity with the light. The light passes a layer of cells, which is called the ganglion cells, or as they want you to write it, the ganglion cell layer of retina. That's A. Then the light keeps going past B layer of cells, which are called the bipolar cell layer of the retina. Great. And that light then goes to layer C, which is called the rods and cones. So they just want you to call it rods and cones. They're called photoreceptors, but what they want you to call it are rods and cones, okay? And that's where the light is absorbed, at these rods and cones, okay? So it's actually in this order. So if you want, you can put A, B, C, D, or just pigmented layer. And the first one in my picture here, A, ganglion cell layer of the retina, B, bipolar cell layer of the retina, C, rods and cones, then D, or if you want to put D, the pigmented epithelium. And that's what it is in order. So this is how I would do it. Know the picture, go A to C, or you can add D, D's probably better, and then know those, and boom, you're done. Okay? So with that being said, where are the ganglion cell layer of the retina? Oh, no, come back. A. That's it. Now, technically what we're going to be looking at is those dots, because those are the nuclei. But yes, all of the other ones are axons. All right, awesome. Now, hold on, guys, I got a cough. Okay, so that layer is A, the ganglion cells of the ganglion cells of the layer of retina. All right, now where is B, the next layer of cells? The bipolar cells. That's it. There. Look at those. Look at the circles, or in this case, they're more ovals. The nuclei. That's right. So this is the bipolar cell layer of retina. Bipolar cells. And then where are the rods and cones, also called photoreceptors? That's it, that whole area there. Careful. Come back. Do it again where you're just doing it on the, there we go. Just those there, because we don't want to kind of go too far. All right, and then make a line on the pigmented epithelium. That's it, that whole line there. Excellent. That's it. That's the pigmented epithelium of the retina. And we're going to see this in the slide. Same thing. Oh, of course. Is it locked out? Do you get locked out? I hope you don't get locked out. I never set it to lock out. We're about to take a break. Tanya, we're about to take a break. All right, guys. All right, so that's what we've got. Awesome. All right, guys. So, no problem. Come back. I hope you're not locked out, and we're going to take a break in just a second anyway. Okay, guys. So, guess what? With that, we finished the flat eye model. Booyah. Not bad. Not bad. All right, guys. I think that's it. I know. Party at Brisa's house, which I'm not coming to because I'm too professional. No fraternizing with my students. I know I'm so much fun, but actually I bought some awesome new boots and you'll all be jealous if you ever saw me in them. Anyway, okay. You've got the guac, I'm coming. Just save me some. Put it in like the staff room fridge. I'll eat all your food. All right, guys. So let's boots on the ground. Oh my God, they're so nice. I can hardly wait to wear them. I don't care if it's summer. I'm going to wear a little dress, not too small because I'm old, and then my boots. Sorry. I was very happy about them. All right, guys, let's take a break. And we will come back at, all right, see